What's up, people? Okay. Oh yeah. Where are we at? Where are you guys? Let me find you. Get cracking. Gotta get that live post rolled out, and we're gonna be good to go. Right. Hopefully, we have less muting issues this time. Let's hope for that. That would be ideal. Bear with me. What's up, Turtles? I see you, man. I see you. I will be with you in just a moment. I am not missing your input. Best believe me on that. I am just getting the community post rolled out. I mean, you know how it is, brother. Right on time, man. I appreciate that greatly. So thank you very much for joining me. Just give me 2 seconds. Almost done. And we are sweet. We're sweet. We're golden. Fucking golden, people. What's up, Check General? I'm good, Turtles, man. I'm good. A little bit tired today, but I had some productive stuff. Oh, shit. Damn. That's actually a W link up. All right, sweet. We are cracking. Astro, I see you, man. I see you in Discord as well. I saw you typing there. I don't miss. And new? No, not for me. I have no interest in that card, to be honest with you. I mean, like, yeah, I'll be watching, but let's be real. Again, happy to be proven wrong. Listen, I'll put it this way: MMA is a crazy game. We know it is, but I'm not seeing it for Sean. I mean, I can at least, at the very bare minimum, appreciate the extra work ethic that's being applied there, the willingness to improve and fix the problems, because I think that's one thing Sean O'Malley in particular probably doesn't get the credit for, is his ability to adapt when he faces adversity. You know, he's a very intelligent mind, and that's a lot due to the, I think, skill set of Tim Welch, his head coach, who is really a master of the game in a lot of ways. They very much have done their homework, you know. That I've little doubt more than anyone in this fight game that they have done their work, and we might see a better Sean. In fact, we probably will. But equally, on the other side of that coin, I think Merab Dvalishvili is going to be improving all the same. So it's going to be an interesting one. I'm not like super excited. Listen, it's not a UFC 223. Was it 223? What was UFC? That was Khabib Conor, right? Or am I casualing it up? Or was that 227? Or am I just completely wrong? No, 223 was Khabib Alayaquinta. 229, I'm thinking of, aren't I? Yeah, my bad. 229 was Conor McGregor Khabib. It's not a Khabib Conor. I mean, I'm not claiming it was ever going to be that. But, you know, if that's the highest benchmark you could ever reach, it's quite far from it. I'll put it that way. Why is Joe Jack at Aspinall? Because he can, and he has all the leverage. We actually broke this down on the pod. And the sad reality is Jones can do whatever he wants in this situation. We were really talking about it, getting frustrated about it. And it's hard not to talk about this subject because obviously it matters to a lot of us, and this is the sport we love and we are passionate about. So it was always going to be difficult. But I think the sobering reality we need to accept is that Jones has all the cards, quite literally. He really, really does. I don't think people understand that. Because the UFC, it's in the UFC's interest for him to be champion, as they're looking for a new broadcaster deal with a potential new suitor. Looks like ESPN is out. So with that in mind, they want to use that Jones-Aspinall fight potentially as leverage, rather than stripping him, because stripping him is not necessarily in their interests. So it sucks, man, but that's how it is. 316 is mid. Yeah, it's okay. Patchy, I think Patchy Mix is going to show out, man. He's going to be good. Who else is at Sean's gym? Yeah, it's just them two. They are just a team, a duo. That's what makes them so unique, and that's why I actually respect Tim Welch so greatly, is because of the fact that he only pretty much works with Sean, and I think maybe a select few other people. You don't think sober Sean can become a mythical fighter? Is he fully sober now, or was he not before? I've agreed. Connor posted in my room, the one where it says the world is watching. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. The flag's on, yeah? That was a cool poster. I mean, a great time to be a fan of MMA. I mean, the only poster I have, again, OGs will know, I still don't have it up, is my Volkov Aspinall one, which I need to get framed, and it's been sitting in the tube in the corner of my desk, just over there. for a good 2 years now, maybe even longer, and I just need to put it up. I don't really know why I haven't, but I haven't, and that is bad. I should do something about that. Since it's basically confirmed Jones won't fight him, who would you book Tom to fight? Alex, Volkov, gone. I mean, we broke this down too. I mean, if we're talking about Jones aside, I mean, for me, logic dictates Cyril Gane, mainly because, I mean, of principle, I'd say Volkov, but no one wants to see that fight. With the greatest respect to Volkov, I know he got robbed against Gane, and he should have won that fight, and he, by all accounts, in my opinion, deserves a shot at the title. I mean, I watched in person Aspinall absolutely rolling through a Volkov, and this was a version of Aspinall which is nowhere near as good as the one that is now. Not even close. He would do it even quicker this time. I think he would probably knock him out. So, with that in mind, Volkov, sadly, is out the equation for me. If you were looking at anyone else, Cyril Gane makes sense. I think stylistically it's fun, but I still think Aspinall works him. I think he knocks him out, to be honest with you. Forget the takedown as sub. I think Aspinall makes it look easy on the feet. And outside of that, again, Pereira, as you mentioned, is a good shout for a quick money fight. I think that fight only goes one way, though, if we're being real. I didn't know that, Toes. That's interesting, then. That's interesting. Maybe Carlos Prates could take a page out of his book, huh? Post spin off stream. The thing is, I don't have any space for... I mean, actually, I do. That's a lie. I could just move my Back to the Future one. What's up, Gingerbread? I'll take that, Ricky. At least it's not the serial killer guy. Eric something, whatever it was. I can't remember who it was you mentioned last time, but I'm glad it's not him. What's up, Black Background? Pretty apt name, I have to say. All of the narratives of the Jones-Aspinall fight has become exhausting. They really got to make a move soon. It's embarrassing. I agree, but again, this is my point. We just said this earlier, man. It's a case of Jones having all the power, and it sucks that that is how it is, but it's just the irrefutable fact. It's just true. Jones has all the leverage. It's in his hands. He could just dip out the spot and say, fine, I'm gone. But the UFC want to keep him to leverage a new deal with a new broadcaster. They want that fight to happen. Like, even at the bottom line, they want that fight to happen. And Jones is just stalling and being a bitch because he's a narcissistic fuck. Like, that's the reality with Jones. What's up, Sammy? Good to have you back, man. You watch anime? No, not really. The only one anime I've really watched all the way through was Edge Runners, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which I really did enjoy. But I do want to get to Berserk. I've heard that's really good, and I want to read Berserk as well, because I've heard it's both really cool. So, Astro, can you plug Discord and Vincent streams? Yeah, you're right. You're right. I should do that more. That's a good point. I do forget to do that more than I should. I'll get it in there. I'll get it in there. If you're not in the Discord, get up in there, people. I try and spend my time in there sometimes. Again, I am busy, so it's tough, but I am in there periodically, and I will do my best to answer any questions you guys got. But please jump in there if you ain't already. Like, what are you doing if you haven't? See the chat of Volk versus Yair 2 for 320. Yeah, we actually talked about that in the pod as well. Like, rumors of that, and I don't really understand it, because Lopez Yair, I actually said that as well on the pod. I was like, that makes so much more sense. Give Volkanovski Evloev. Yes, it's a tough fight, but legacy-wise, if Volk is going to get through that, man, that puts him... We actually had a big heat debate about where Aldo lands. We talked about what we had on stream last time, about where Aldo ranks on the featherweight rankings. We brought that onto the pod because I thought it was just such an interesting topic. And I think I conceded the point that if Evloev was to be beaten by Volkanovski at this point in his career, the latter's career, should I say, then that man is probably at the pantheon, on top of the pantheon of kings of the featherweight division. But... again, still a debate in itself. So I don't know. I mean, we ran that race last time around, so I don't want to get too deep into that. Also, do let me know if you can hear my fan. I'm going to try my best to not let that happen. But do let me know if it is, because it is keeping me cool and chill. But equally, if it's annoying for you, that's not great. Volk's my featherweight go. And that's understandable. I completely agree with that to an extent. I think there's arguments you can make for it, should I say. I'm more in the Aldo camp at the moment, but it's on like a knife's edge. If Volk is to 1 or 2 title defenses for me, that's it. Fair announcement would be if Dana said he is marrying John. That wouldn't surprise me at all, my man. I'm going to be real. That would be pretty accurate. Wait until 317 to end, then if/when Pantoja beats Kaikar France. Pantoja Moreno 4. I mean, I guess. I get he's earned it, I guess, but I'd make it off the basis of the last fight was a banger, not because... for any other reason, you know. Sorry. Oh man, apologies. I drank that tea and it's kind of fucking me up. I don't necessarily think it goes a different way. Maybe I'm wrong. Happy to be proven wrong. I like Moreno a lot, but yeah, I'd make it off the basis that the last fight was a straight banger. Like, why not? JDM versus Islam versus Volk versus Evloev in Perth is the easiest slam dunk ever. I mean, yes, I agree, but I think the way the UFC works right now, man, is they would probably separate them into two different pay-per-views. We know how this company operates. Is it crazy? I'm not really that surprised at this point. It was inevitable eventually. Not happy about it, but I would have been pissed either way because I don't like United, so it's whatever. My God, I don't know why I'm feeling it so much today. Jesus. Yeah, Dig, what's up, brother? How you doing? If Dana just stripped Jones and said Jones didn't want to risk fighting the baddest man on the planet, Tom Aspinall, he would create a huge star overnight. I mean, Aspinall is a star in his own right. I don't think he needs Dana White's validation, though I understand the sentiment you're trying to put forward. I don't necessarily agree with it. I do think he should strip Jones, though. That very much I do agree with. But I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. Jones is playing the game because he has all the cards. The summer's going to be fire. Yes, back end of this year looks good. From what we're hearing for rumors of pay-per-views, we're finally out the shit show. Because I can't lie, the first half of this year for MMA has been so unbelievably dog shit. Like, it's been really, really fucking bad. Like, all the main pay-per-views have honestly sucked. Except from, I mean, has there been a good one? Has there been a good one since the start of the year? What pay-per-views have we had? Like, main events. Like, if we're going specifically on main events, I know that's a bit harsh. But if we're going off a list of UFC pay-per-view events, I mean, we've had Volk Evloev. That was, sorry, Volk Lopez, which okay, Volk Lopez is probably the only one I'd say in recent memory. And then what, before that, Pereira and Ankalaev, shit. I mean, Duplessis Strickland 2, dog shit. Marcin Moicano, dog shit, though I understand the short notice. Jones Miocic, absolutely shambolic, should never have taken place. And yeah, that was it since January. In fact, I mean, Jones Miocic was in November, and we had Pantoja Asakura in December, which was good, but last year. So since January, the main events have been absolute piss, except from the last one. 314, should I say, not the last one. JDM Bilal was actually a good fight. To be fair, I will give that one credit, but it doesn't get me out of my seat, you know? Thankfully, the ones we seem to have announced, they're actually getting me invested, man. That's why I'm excited. So back end of this year, I'm ready to dive back in. Do I think Chelsea will win? I hope so. Well, who knows? It's football. I'm going, okay, Atomic. Can't lie, very tired today. Had a long day. Had a long call with a certain individual. Can't get into it, but we're just planning on just some business horizons stuff for the channel. Something I'm trying to expand. Just build it out as a business rather than a job. And that might sound scary, and it is scary, but I'm waiting to see you to bite the bullet on whether we go forward with that, probably. I'll let you know in due course. Did I see Olive say he's going to KO Ilia? Yeah, I did, and that's not going to happen. So, I do, Dig. I do. Listen, obviously that relationship deteriorated with Ngannou and Dana White. That much is very clear. We know that now. I think what you're saying about Tom, I agree. He should promote Tom, but I think that's just more representative of everybody. I actually break that down in the Eras video, which is dropping tomorrow. I actually put that out in the back end of the video, and I'm talking about the future and the problems with the UFC that I bring up in terms of Dana White not promoting his fighters enough and doing the very bare minimum. You know, that's a very valid point, and I think it's a point on the wider look at the UFC, not just with Aspinall. I agree, Ali. Good to have you back, brother. 316. It's not stacked, sorry, should I say? I don't necessarily agree, but it's pretty good. What's up, Jack? It's always based on expectations to keep mine low, and I'm always pleasantly surprised. That's a good idea. I think you have to learn to do that once you go through the honeymoon phase of being an MMA fan, where everything's new, everything's exciting, and you're watching every fight night. I mean, for me, staying up for all these little cards, you know, even the shitty women's main events, and there's no disrespect to them, but they're just not as exciting in an Apex arena at 5 a.m. You know, I'm being real there. You know, once you learn to temper your expectations in that regard and maybe strip back a little bit from MMA in general, I think you get a deeper appreciation. So, they also you got Ilia versus Charles. Be specific. Ilia round 1, man. I said this the other night. Ilia in the first round knockout, my man. Got Discord popping here every once in a while. I like that. That's good. Exactly, mate. Dana's lost his passion. I mean, I wouldn't say it's that. I just think maybe for UFC specifically, I think yes. But for business and for promoting, I think he's just moved to new horizons with the whole boxing stuff with TKO and what he's doing with Turkey Out of Shake and also Power Slap, of course. So we'll see. Macy Barber or Blanchfield? Blanchfield for me. I think she'll take down. Barber's improved a lot, though. I think the Roxanne Modafferi really showed deep down with her that she needs to... There's levels to it, and she needs to improve. She's gone back and done that and proved as much. But I think Blanchfield's ground game will be the big difference maker there. Round 1 is crazy. Is it? Charles's chin is overrated. It's not actually. It's not even overrated. It's not one of those things. It's just not that strong. Charles's recovery is very good, but it doesn't take a lot to put him down. It doesn't take a lot to put him down. And Ilia has more power than anyone in that division, and pound for pound, very few can compare to him. So I'd say Ilia would put the lights out early. I really do think that. He's too hittable, Charles. He doesn't move his head off the center line enough. He doesn't. That's one of his biggest weaknesses. He's a very forward pressure fighter, which works well if he's able to dominate and push the front foot. He won't be able to do that against Ilia Topuria. He just won't. I could be wrong, but I just don't see that happening. And with that in mind, I think Ilia Topuria will put him away pretty early. And this is coming from someone who's a fan of Charles, man. I don't necessarily want that to happen. Yeah, valid, actually. Klein Gamrot are going to be fighting? Yeah, it's a good one. I did dig. I've used that clip many a times because it's so ridiculous. I think Dana's become a bottleneck blocking new and innovative ideas. He's so busy, he just prefers to keep the machine running the way it already is. I think so. It's easier to do it that way, right? It's easier to sit back and let the people who are running the company really behind the scenes just do their jobs, which is fine to an extent. But by doing that, eventually what you get is stagnation on every front of the business. And, you know, to be successful, you have to innovate. You have to change. That goes for anything, really. Any creative endeavor, you have to do that. So I do agree. And I think, as I said, he probably just, who mentioned it earlier, I think he's just gotten bored of it. I think he's just moving on to new horizons. And I don't mind that. But I'd be curious to see the direction the UFC goes if Dana steps down as president, which he will at some point. I have no doubt about that. What's up, Pinado? Good to have you back, brother. Always bring it with that emoji. Tried to push Macy so hard. Well, she had a good rise early on. So I don't blame them. Go see the Lucas Tracy video on Jon Jones. No, I didn't, Gursy, but I do like Lucas. I don't really watch much MMA content on YouTube anymore. That's just me in general. But I do like Lucas. And I'm glad he came back. How many fights hit harder than Ilia pound for pound? Name them. I mean, I'd say Josh Emmett. I know they fought each other, but it was more so a case of Ilia's defense being incredible rather than Josh's power being withstood. I think Josh Emmett hits harder pound for pound. Are you going to be watching the next Power Slap event? No, obviously not. Bo Nichols should step down and take on the Russian fighter. I'm not reading it out, Atomic. You're not getting me, brother. I hope Charles sleeps Ilia, but I know he won't. It could happen, bro. I've seen crazier shit in this game. I'm going to be real. If Juliana Pena can choke out Amanda Nunes and someone can simultaneously lose 350 grand on the latter, then anything's possible. Because someone did bet 350 grand on Nunes to win that fight, I believe. It might have actually been more than that. Charles going to get chinned, I agree. And I love him, but he's just... The age and mileage is also a big factor. Favorite moment for the first part of this year? There's not been a lot, man. There's not been a lot. This is what I'm saying. I don't think the pay-per-view's been incredible. One that stands out was actually recent. What card was Dolby? Was Dolby versus Brown on 314? Was that on the prelims? No, it was on the Gary Prates fight night. That was an incredible knockout. That had me out of my seat, man, because it reminded me of Holloway Gaethje in terms of the finish. And it was a bit of a barn burner. So that one is slept on. Awesome fucking finish. I love that one. So shout out to Randy Brown and Dolby for being game as fuck. So I'd say that as a sort of sleeper shout. But if we were talking on the larger scale, I think Volk just getting his belt back. Feel good moment for me and for a lot of other people, I'm sure. What about yourself? John Silver or current Volk? Oof, that's a question, man. It might be a hot take to say John Silver, because I think I'm going to say John Silver, but I don't know. A lot of people are so... Like, when it comes to stuff like this, when you talk about the old guard versus new guard, everyone's like, no, how can you say that? Well, Volk's done this, this, and this. Yes, but that's not the same version. It's the same thing when people are talking about Usman versus Leon back in the day, and Adesanya as well, or any of these guys. It was like, no, this guy's done everything. He's one of the GOAT. He's defended his belt for times. Like, yeah, sure. But he's not the best version of himself anymore. So it's not outrageous to say that John Silver could beat Volkanovski. At the end of the day, it's two men in a cage. One's got a belt, sure. But it's still a fight. And one's in their prime, one ain't. Ilia might go for a sub on Charles to prove a point. I wouldn't be surprised. I actually brought that up too. I think his grappling is seriously underrated. I think people need to remember that this was a man who started with Greco-Roman wrestling and jiu-jitsu as his background, not boxing. It was boxing second, which just speaks volumes to how incredible Ilia Topuria actually is in terms of his overall skill set. That his probably best asset wasn't even his priority growing up. Crazy. How many knockouts has he had? A lot. I'm not sure what the number is, though. Do you have to pay-per-view for Power Slap? Not anymore. I think it's not done very well for him. But I'm not sure if it ever was pay-per-view saying that. Rabbit Umar was my favorite card in a long time. 311. I mean, that was a good card. I mean, overall, I think Murad. I mean, it was a decent fight. I think it was a bit overrated, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, actually, no, Jury versus Hill. To be fair, I talked about Dolby Brown. Jury Hill was the one that got me out of my seat on the big stage. That one awesome finish. That was so fucking cool. That was incredible. I love that one. That's one of my favorite finishes this year. Probably the last few years, actually. And to be honest with you, I mean, the Murad Umar fight was okay. It was good, but a bit overrated. And then Mahache Moicano, I mean, elementary, really. So I can't get too excited over that. Hey, Musical, what's up, brother? How you doing? No way. Did he get deleted? If that's true, that's the best words I've ever heard. Oh, that's fucking divine, mate. I'm so glad you came in here and dropped that. I did not know that. Do you know why I got deleted? Thank you for that knowledge. Absolute specimen that man is, bro. I'm glad you brought that to me, man. Thank you. Damn, I can't believe no one told me that. When did that happen? Was that today? Holy shit. I can 100% see Oliveira couching on Ilia with a high kick, then looking up a rear naked choke to win. Nah, not for me. He's not mobile enough. He's not mobile enough in the same way that Jai Herbert was that caught him. It's not. It just stylistically, it's not the same. Ilia doesn't. Charles's high kicks aren't that crazy. He throws kicks up the middle more than like conventionally. He throws a lot of front kicks and knees. He just shows a lot up the middle, but not around the side. So I don't think Ilia will get caught with that. Front kick or a knee, I could see for sure. The knee in particular is actually a good weapon for Charles against Ilia. But landing it is a big question. Ilia's brother, too early to call, man, but it looks promising. First event, 311. It was a great event to see. It's good to. I always like the perspective of new fans in MMA, so I'm glad that was your first. Because that's not a bad one to start with, to be fair. Rigo, he's just a creepy motherfucker on YouTube, man. Gonna be real. Creepy dude. MMA YouTuber, absolute specimen. Said some really fucked up shit about was it Chito Vera's daughter? And also what was the really weird thing he did? He did some really weird shit with one of the UFC fighters or something. Some of you might have to jog my memory. I'm not entirely sure. Musical, you'll know for sure. That was the stuff and he also did some weird grooming shit as well with some people on his stream. He's an absolute weirdo. This whole, I mean, Musical's done a great video on him. You should go watch that. That's pretty concise. What if Ilia loses? Is a return to 145? No, I don't think so. The way he operates, he's on a bit of a warpath, my man. I think with Ilia, we're going for everything or bust. We're going for every accolade. So if he loses to Charles, which I don't think he will, but if he does, he'll come back and just say, I want that rematch, or he'll beat another guy in the way, knock his ass out cold, and then go fight for the belt again because he's got the big star power and name value. Won't take a lot. YouTube account, he used his email address he got from his uni nearly 10 years ago, and they closed their server. What an idiot. Wow. I mean, I was hoping he got banned. I'm so glad that happened. I mean, listen, when I graduated, bro, I moved everything off my uni. Loads of my stuff just got merged onto my uni email. So I had to move everything over, and I knew that was going to happen, so I just did that before he got wiped. What an idiot. I mean, I'm glad, because fuck that guy. He'll probably get his channel back, to be fair. Never gets old talking about this fight. It will never happen. Just stop talking about Jones. Maybe then he will finally disappear. Okay, that's not a bad idea, man. Not a bad idea. Chris Duncan's mum. Yes, that was it. What a piece of shit. For the reference, Chris Duncan's mum passed a couple of years ago, and when Duncan won on the mic, his first chance on the microphone he ever got in the UFC, he dedicated to her because he never got the chance to do it on the mic, and he was very emotionally upset, as you would be. And Rigo was like making comments about it on Twitter and tweeting at him, just rage baiting to the lowest degree. Absolute stain on society, that man is. You think Ilia is leaving his team as cause concerned? I actually think it is. I think that's a good point you bring up, Base, and it's good to have you back. Because I was thinking about that today as well when I saw that. And I think that's a very valid point. Because we've seen Benoit Saint-Denis, probably a more egregious example of a man who got this far really without any proper coaching team. You know, that's a bit of a different case, but we've seen where that can go. I think Ilia's already has the skills put in place to be fine. And I know he's been working with a team in-house at his own gym, which is fair enough. So we'll see, but I don't know. Cheeto's daughter versus Tony Ferguson, who wins? I'm going to go with Tony Ferguson because one is disabled and the other one is an MMA fighter. Rigo still has a second channel. Like ranking every Salvadorian beer and you'll find him. Oh, I don't even want to look at it, bro. I can't stand the sight of that, dude. He says it was an email issue. If he got banned for violations, he never say. Yeah, I think he's probably lying. I think it would probably be for being banned. His mum was murdered and Rigo took the piss out. I don't think his mum was murdered, right? You know who else is being held hostage? My wife. Hopefully not by you or by anyone, really, MP. I mean, listen, I'm glad Rigo's gone, even if it's temporary. I don't want to linger on that guy too much. I'm going to be real. But he's not, I mean, he is a bad dude. Just straight up, he's a bad person. People like that shouldn't be on our niche, to be honest with you. You know, in this scene, there's a lot of people who I disagree with. Like, on every front, on certain issues, whether that's political or just within MMA. You know, but... Like, there's a difference, right? There's a difference between that, where you can just be respectful regardless, and being a stain on society like Rigo is, and he's a special exception, so... Chris Duncan's mum was murdered? I don't think she was murdered. I think she... Oh, she was? Holy shit. I didn't realize that. That makes it even worse. What a piece of shit, man. I thought she died. She had cancer or something. My bad. I think Ilia can put out Oliveira cold. I agree, Aspinall. It's good to have you back, man. I totally agree. That's my prediction in the first round. Jamal, what's up? Tell Danny to pay his fighters. I would if I could. But if I did, I would probably get blacklisted. Not that I'm whitelisted for any UFC events, but if I was, I would get immediately blacklisted. And say goodbye to any chance of a media pass, because that would be out the fucking window. So, what are the odds for Shavkat versus JDM Islam will be? I think it'll be pretty close. I mean, the size difference between Islam and Shavkat would be huge, and that would be a big factor. So I don't know. JDM Islam will be close now. After that Bilal fight, and we've seen how good JDM's takedown defense can be, working with Craig Jones, just as Volkanovski did for his fights against Makhachev. I think with that in mind, the odds are going to be very close. Did I get the John Gooden commentary thing? No, I did not. I didn't actually get an email back, which is a shame, but eh. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe jury's still out, but we'll see. Hang on a minute. Sorry. Sorry, I got to respond to this. Not the John Gooder thing. Sorry, bear with me, people. Literally 2 seconds. Cool. Cool. Sorry about that. Completely missed an email, which was important. Ilia never knocks people out on the feet. I do think he gets it in the second, though. I mean, he's going to get it. He'll find that chin. Listen, Chandler nearly got it in the fucking 5th. Ilia will do it. Is it 5 rounds, that fight? I mean, of course it is. It's for the fucking undisputed vacant title. So, yes, 100% he'll find it. However long have you been doing the YouTube, the Ginger Dharma? Wow, okay. Bold saying there. 2 and a bit years now. Since late 2022. Very late 2022. So... Thoughts on the Shavkat being next discourse? I don't really care. I think, to be honest, with welterweight, it's so stacked. They need to just basically correct the course, sort everything out, put everyone against each other in a little tournament. Do it on one night. Do it on an event. Welterweights only or some shit. Sorry, I've got to move this call over to a different time. Because it's at a different time. Bear with me, gang. Okay. There we go. Done. Now I can be back with you guys. Sorry about that. Like the stream, fellas. Leo, catch you soon, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I hope the content grind is treating you well. We got some good shit coming here, and I hope you do as well. But thank you, man, for stopping by. And thank you for that wonderful news you brought to me today. Karma 319, we get to see if the DDP plot armor holds true. Yeah, honestly, I'm picking against him for the first time since the Robert Whittaker fight. And I'm more than happy to eat my words, because I'm a big DDP fan now, to be honest with you. He's just hilarious. And he finds a way to win, and that is admirable to me. I listen, I said a lot of scolding and scathing words about in the build-up to the Whittaker fight, and I ate them promptly following that one, and I've never picked against him since, but I just think Chimaev will be too much. He is a different breed. Ilia or... Come on, bro. I'm better than that. I would like more if Ilia subs him, though. I think that'd be insane. I think that would be insane. Like, imagine that. But as I said, it could happen. Ilia's got a good ground game. Can't say 100%. For what exactly, man? Vacant title. I really am out of touch. Yeah, man. Topuria. Sorry, not Topuria. Makhachev's moving up. He's leaving. Who would win in their primes? Islam versus Khabib. Khabib. Islam would admit it as well. I did see the Indian prospect. In time, man. Listen, you need to give these things time to build. English MMA sucked for years until it finally developed. So it takes time. It just needs the right infrastructure and actual financial support. That's what it is. What type of Jon Jones crash out would you expect if he was stripped? All of those things put together. Armour said he has a co-main event coming up. Didn't reveal an opponent. Maybe like Moicano or something. I don't know. I heard Dariush's got a fight, hasn't he? So it can't be him. I don't know. Moicano could make sense. Sean Brady seems so undersized, yet so big in the cage. That's technique and weight and strength training will do to you. Not the biggest dude, but he makes it difficult. Because is the best trash talker. I wouldn't go that far. Rest of both Khabib and Islam, and Khabib is levels above Islam in that regard. I would love to know if that's true. Hey, listen, bro. I mean, I know you're dismissing him, and listen, chances are you're probably right. But there was a guy in my comment section of like when I first started, when I did a video on someone, I can't remember, but Aljo was brought up in the video, and he like was taught by Aljo at high school. He was a wrestling coach in high school. Aljo was back before he trained MMA full time, and that guy like very much was telling the truth. So you never know. I'm not exaggerating, but like, you know, sometimes crazy shit does happen. DDP via walking into the cage after Khamzat gets the sub and saying, "Glad I'm not that guy," before KOing with a Looney Tunes style large hammer, which creates a cave in on Khamzat's head, whilst stars appear around Khamzat's head. You also need to hit Khamzat's ghost flying off into the air, and then Dricker smelling a pie backstage and him floating off towards that. That would be pretty accurate. Moicano's fighting Dariush. Oh, yeah, of course he is. What am I talking about? I am the casual, brother. Gaethje, yeah, that makes sense. Arman Gaethje makes perfect sense. Did I see the tweet between DDP and Khamzat? I did. Listen, I don't know. I don't really care too much for the trash talking these days. I care for great fights, and I think that will be one of them. Turtles, I agree, but we said that about anyone that Khamzat fights, but it's like Tom Aspinall says, take me to fucking deep waters then. Everyone says, oh, we haven't seen an Aspinall in deep waters. It's just like, we'll take him there then. It's kind of the same with Khamzat. Gilbert's the only one to do it, and Khamzat did not fight a smart fight. People forget, man, Ilia's base is Greco-Roman wrestling. Exactly, that's what I said earlier, man. He's a jiu-jitsu and wrestler first. Stand your base. Stand your base. Ilia Topuria. Pop, 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 pop. God, Conor McGregor, what a stain on society he is. I don't know what that means, but you're a something champion in Sambo. I've spent time in Eagle SC. Fair enough. Have you got a Tapology shit? Have you got anything on Tapology? That would be pretty cool. Or like Sherdog or something? Or do they not track that stuff? Well, Usman 2, last minute notice. And arguably could have won, people will say. Yeah, I mean, that fight was changing directions. That's a fair point. Dynamically, like I could see Usman taking over that one. Leo, do you have fighters you support no matter how good the win streak or bad the lose streak? Yeah, of course. I mean, I don't wish ill will on anyone, but support-wise, I'd say Aspinall or a lot of the English guys, of course. I'm going to DDP by split. I've got Chimaev, man. I mean, DDP is freakishly strong, though. He is. But so Chimaev. It's going to be interesting, man. I really don't know how it's going to play out, but that's what makes it so exciting. Any Dricker's fight is worth being invested in because of his style. That's the same way MVP is innately a draw, because it's always a unique puzzle to deal with, and it's always interesting to see how a new opponent is going to operate and take down his strengths and show his weaknesses. It's the same with Drickus, anyone who fights him. Who's moving up class on short notice made it interesting. Yeah, agreed. I mean, it makes you wonder how that fight would have gone if Usman had a full camp. I don't know. What's up, Aaron? Good to have you back. Been a little while. How have you been? Wait, you don't like McGregor? No. Why would I like Conor McGregor? What do you mean? The guy is not a good human being. Drickus is just really good everywhere, and I mean, I like Chimaev, but can you say his last wins are people out of their prime or time coming up? I mean, I don't think Usman... I mean, yes, Usman was out of his prime, for sure, and he is. I have no doubt about that, but it's still Kamaru Usman. And beating Robert Whittaker, who's still very much got a lot of skin in this game, got a lot of time left, that's a phenomenal win. Phenomenal win. Prime featherweight Conor or Ilia? Maybe I'm biased because I like Ilia and I don't like Conor, but I do not. Ilia is a special athlete. Truly. I think Dricus can beat Khamzat by corner stoppage. I mean, maybe. Maybe. Listen, I have little doubt in my mind that Dricus will make this fight dirty. Put it that way. He will make that fight a dog fight. And that's what Burns did, and that's where he had success against Chimaev. So if he's able to do that and neutralize those early takedowns, I think Dricus can really weigh on Chimaev and drain that stamina bar. Metaphorical one, should I say, because we're not playing the UFC game. It's for real. So I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. I have little doubt of that. With the vacant title, Ilia beats Oliveira, and then Dustin Poirier beats Ilia and finally becomes champ. I worry that would end badly for Dustin. I don't want to ever see that fight. Renier versus... who is Renier? He's fighting Rob, isn't he? Yeah, I want Rob to win it, but I also do like Derrida too. Life's been busy, but good otherwise. I feel you there. Wishing the heavyweight division had the same level of excitement as the welterweight division. It's been a while. I mean, I can't remember any time where that was the case. Maybe back in like the golden era, probably the mid to late 2000s, you can make that argument. But yeah, there's just not a lot of talent. The depth is the most important thing. There's just not a lot of depth in that division, in the upper weight classes. So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, heavyweight could be so much more. Guys like Aspinall represent what the UFC, the weight class, sorry, should I say, could be down the line. That level of quality, which I think we will eventually see as the game evolves and the standards raise. You'll get more fighters like Aspinall, like a Garn, obviously who could be a bit more well-rounded, but the type of athlete he is. GM3, like not taking anything from Chimaev. Yes, he's only been 1 and 2 in real dog fights, and it's been interesting. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I think Whittaker will mask us Renier, although I may be biased since Bobby Knuckles is my favorite fight. He's up there for me, man. I love his podcast because it just merges my two favorite worlds, which is MMA and games. So, yeah, Whittaker is an absolute legend and clearly just a stand-up guy. I'm a big fan of him too. I do want him to win. Alexandre Topuria versus Payton Tower. I don't even know. We haven't seen enough of Alexandre to really make that call. So I don't know. The worst A-level paper today. Generally horrific questions. So glad I'm done with English. I don't miss them. I said I didn't do my exam, so I don't know why I'm talking. Because of COVID, they didn't happen. So I can't relate. So you're going to have to hold that L, mate. Skill issue. They're blobs, but fighters like Aspinall raising the standard. Yes, completely. This is what I mean. We'll see a gradual transition to that as the levels raise. I mean, in the same way you go back and look at the first UFC events compared to now, you'll just see a gradual evolution of the standard across each weight class, not just within heavyweight, but across the board of fighters just being better in every facet. And heavyweight will probably see the most obvious because the gap is a lot wider of where it is now and could be. Guys at my gym that heavyweights and fit as hell, they give me hope. Like, right, I know. I mean, exactly. There's a lot of young guys. Like in my gym, there's just absolute killers. And obviously, they're not professional, but they could go on to be. And you think about some of the standards the UFC sets. Hopefully, down the line, that changes. Bet my house on Aspinall over everyone. Dig, I'm in full agreement. I don't think anyone beats Aspinall in the entire world right now. Maze Jamie Pickett. Didn't he get cut? I think he got cut, right? Dricus bringing up Kadyrov. Oh, God. Yeah, he'd get offed if he did that. Should be getting Alex Topuria fight news. I hope so. I'd like to see him in the cage again because as much as it was a decent win over Colby Thickness, that was a guy also making his UFC debut and still very green by MMA standards. So I want to see Alexander against someone with a bit more pedigree. DDP or Anderson Silva? I'd go Dricus. Honestly, I would go Dricus. People might not want to people might not like me saying that, should I say. But Dricus would, I think, be able to wrestle and take down Anderson. I do. If you're going prime for prime, I actually do think Dricus would beat him. Just stylistically, it makes sense. Is Ilia beating Volkan Max more impressive than Conor KOing Aldo in 13 seconds? I'd say, it's tough. Conor's KO meant so much more for the UFC than any other knockout ever. So I'd say no. If we're talking about more impressive in terms of the skill set wise, just what it is on a purely mixed martial arts basis, I would go with Conor's knockout. Considering Aldo is still, in my opinion, the greatest featherweight of all time and was undefeated for, I think, nearly 10 years. And Conor McGregor willed that entire run into existence and just did it in 13 seconds. It's still the fastest championship knockout in history. And that's not taking any away from Topuria's achievements because I don't think they're very far behind at all. But I'd have to go with Conor's as much as I hate them, man. I trained with this guy, Ghazi Gadziev, who I think will be getting to the UFC in the next year. Has he got a topology? Let's have a look. Ghazi Gadziev, 22-1. Holy shit. Light heavyweight. Wow, yeah. I mean, again, record very much padded. I'm not going to sit here and say otherwise, but hey, Khabib started fighting against farmers, so you know, no, it's not a true reflection of skill. And you know, there's no reason why he can't go on to do big things. I will keep an eye out for him, and if he does pop up in the UFC, I won't forget, bro. I don't know how to pronounce your names, as it is in Russian, but I won't forget. How many top 15 heavyweights would you consider blobs? Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I'd say 70%. Powerlifting strongman versus two small guys. Oh, you're talking about Eddie Hall. Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Dare I say, I think the same better standards can be said for women's MMA. I don't know about bantamweight, but if they had an atomweight division, I totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, it's almost like the reverse the other way. They put the featherweight division out and it was just dead and it shouldn't have been made. The atomweight is an open goal. It just should be made. It would do so well for the UFC. I very much agree. Be fun fights, and as I agree, I think the standards would be a lot better because usually as you go down the weight classes in the men's divisions, the standard of MMA is way better because you have to be better just to compete. You just do, and I think we'd see that with an atom weight class in the women's divisions. If Drickus brings up Kadyrov, he enters UFC trash talking GOAT conversation. I think he has to be behind Chael. I don't think anyone can beat Chael. Allison is a new breed. Yeah, he is good. British UFC fighter female. I stand by Veronica Hardy being up there, but Zhang Weili is my female GOAT. I mean, no, Shevchenko's above Weili, and I like Weili as well. She's got a fight in the Hall of Fame. That's an incredible achievement, and she probably will go into the Hall of Fame regardless. But I'm sorry, no, she's not above Shevchenko or Nunes. No way. Jimmy Carr Jerry episode. Yeah, I saw Jimmy Carr getting a lot of flack recently for that whole Israel stuff, which we're not going to get into as much as I'm very much against that shit as well. We're not going to get into that. Poliana Viana. It's all subjective, is it not? Aaron talking about Weili going to 125. Aaron talking about like she's become a champion. I'm assuming it's about Aaron Blanchfield, not the Aaron in the chat. I don't know. I like the 125 move just so we get that super fight, but I would just so much rather Shevchenko fight Nunes. I'd like Nunes to come back, win the bantamweight title, and then fight Shevchenko. Just make it happen again. Because Shevchenko won the last fight. I don't care what the scorecards say. And it's the two best women's fighters of all time. Put them against each other again. For all the fucking marbles. Do it. Miss my incredible joke? I did miss it. Oh, he's going to get KO'd. Yeah, probably. But we know how this game works. Next weight class, the women's atom weight. I think women's atom weight over men's 165 for sure. We don't need a 165 weight class right now. I mean, it would just convolute things more. I think the atom weight classes generally actually would fill a void in the UFC. Yeah, I'm sure they do, Aaron, because they've got a higher skill set and better scraps. It makes sense. I mean, who was that girl on Road to the UFC who landed that head kick like out cold knockout? Was it Road to the UFC? Someone will get the name. I can't remember the top of my head, but she hasn't fought since then. She would be perfect for that weight class. Think Kayla Harrison makes easy work in Nunes? We'll see. We'll see. That'll be a fun fight. Nunes knees are worse than Usman's? Maybe. I mean, she is a bit past it now, but I don't know. I just want the Shevchenko fight just for legacy. I wish we would have had it again earlier when they were both in better shape and better condition and not at this point in their careers, but I'm not going to complain. Just make the fight happen. Yeah, the Chinese doctor. I couldn't remember what her name is. Brock Lesnar's daughter. Yeah, definitely no DNA needed. Eddie Hall versus MHO. Yeah. See Romero rage baiting Maguire throughout the final. It's about the United game. I was sort of half watching the game. It was so boring, so I wasn't too bothered. 115 would be cool. There's some undersized flyweights in the UFC. There's a lot of great talents there. I mean, if we're talking about the women's weight classes, I don't think it doesn't need it for the men's. It just doesn't. I think the UFC signs the code to shave it 100%. Maybe not now, maybe not for the next year or two, because PFL probably paying her well and she's happy there. But she's the biggest, probably the biggest star in women's MMA right now, in my opinion. In terms of actual people who watch the sport, again, to the casual fans, that will come. But I think right now, to a core MMA fans, Dakota Teixeira is the biggest star in women's MMA. She is phenomenal. And I think it's a no-brainer for her to put her in the UFC. And I'm sure there's been conversations. I'm sure there has. Xi Ming, that's it. That's it. Yeah, she would be perfect for atomweight. Attica, what's up, man? How are you doing, brother? Pretty young right now, but I can see the UFC always scouting her. Probably just wait until she's a free agent. I'm assuming you're talking about Dakota, and yeah, I think so. They'll swoop in. Thing is, the UFC probably won't pay her as much. So, if you're, I mean, at the end of the day, fighters don't get paid a lot as much as they should. So, it's a money game. I don't blame Dakota for staying in the PFL. She's got plenty of time, as you said, Aaron. She's young. She'll make the move, just maybe not now. Vadim Nemkov, yeah, I know. Vadim Nemkov would be cool. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of talent from like global, like One, Rising as well. They don't sign a lot of people from these promotions anymore. They just don't. It's what I've noticed because they just like to get people for the Contender Series, put them on 10 and 10 contracts. I actually brought this up in my video that's coming tomorrow. I talk about this as well. There's that lack of willingness to expand and look for talents in other promotions and poach them. And instead, just fucking go put them on 10 and 10 for the Contender Series because it's cheaper. It's just like, ugh, boring. I have not. Women are carrying Chinese MMA. They are. Isn't Dakota a model? I'm not sure off the top of my head. You might be right. Not my type, personally, but each to their own. Honestly, UFC should shine every heavyweight outside the UFC. I mean, well, you say that, but there's only a certain number of fights they can have under contract, and it is a money game as well, equally. Specky, my man. Good to have you back, brother. Dana's wet dreams about Apex Cards and Contender Series because he saves money. I think it's that, but it's also because they got to meet a quota with ESPN. That's the more important thing there. I'll be real. I'm just shuffling my tunes. There we go. I like that energy, man. I like that energy, Specky. Good to have you back, brother. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of problems with the UFC, and I bring all these points you guys are talking. I'm glad you bring them up because I did talk about them in my video, so that's coming out. So this is a sentiment I share as well. Even though I don't explicitly give my opinion, I just think it's the general sentiment shared by the MMA fan base. So I think it was fair to bring up. J General, sure. In fact, speaking on that again, I'm gonna say it again. If you're not in the Discord, what are you doing? Get up in here. Get up in our Discord right now. Join that shit. Holy shit. That is bold from Brock. I'm gonna be alright. I don't like the guy because of the shit, that shady shit that went on with him and like Vince McMahon a while back. Weirdo. Is Arnold from Ipswich? I believe he is. Yes. I could be wrong. He's an Ipswich fan. I don't know if he's from Ipswich though. The UFC should get rid of weight class. I think it'd be interesting. I mean, it's part of the sport now, so I don't think so. Well, I don't think they will. Well, should they? Maybe. I think it'd be interesting if they did. Yeah. I'd say yeah. Why not? I don't think ONE FC got rid of weight classes. They just have hydration clauses, don't they? Didn't him and Vince? Yeah, something like that, right? Some weird shit. I don't know, Dig. Wasn't there some trafficking stuff as well? I don't know, bro. I remember seeing something like that when there was that whole lawsuit going off about with Vince McMahon, and then he stepped down from TKO when they formed with the UFC, literally like a week later. I don't know, bro. Different, better hydration was, yeah, safer. Is probably the word to use, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, UFC should definitely follow that lead. For all of the faults that we hear about, again, it's slipping my mind. The name of the guy who runs one championship. I can't remember his name, but he's pretty ruthless from all accounts. Muay Thai /1 is much more chill about weight cuts. Yeah, at least that's a silver lining, I think, to them. Why are people in Liverpool so annoying? I think people just don't like the accent, man. Everyone have to move division. That's true. Brock looks like a London gangster. No, he does not look like a London gangster. I'm gonna be honest. I guess you're talking about the suit. You're talking like old money, but I disagree. Dana Yellow, that's crazy, bro. I mean, to be fair, Asim, President Awesome from Karate Combat, who we actually had a convo with on the pod, lovely guy, very enthusiastic about what he does, and very passionate, and very friendly as well. He calls himself, well, I don't know if he dubbed it himself, but he's known as Dana Brown. So, you know, he doesn't take offense to it. So, like, it's been a while since Arnold Allen last fought. It was Shikadze, right? I mean, didn't he have a fight fall through? It's a shame for him because he won. He beat everywhere in my eyes, 2 rounds to 1. I mean, yeah, he hasn't fought since July last year. Damn. He ain't fought since 304. Neither is Tom Aspinall. God damn it. That's actually painful. Painful, man. Jesus, yeah, you think about that. Fucking hell. Nice one, Atomic. Again, you're not getting me, man. Dana Brown on the podcast was in the same pool. Yeah, well, thank Will for that one. That was really cool. That, honestly, Asim was a sound dude. And shout out Karate Combat as well, because they are killing it right now. I say this, one of the few, you know, promotions outside of the UFC that are actually doing their own thing, carving their own path and succeeding, where a lot of people aren't. Because I think the crucial thing is they recognize that you can't go event for event, band for band with the UFC. It's just not possible. It isn't possible. It's like starting up a smartphone tech company and trying to compete with Apple. It just can't happen. It will not happen. It's impossible. But what you can do is innovate and carve out your own lane in the niche, and that's exactly what Karate Combat had done to a very high level. Alan was robbed. Yeah, he was. Arnold did get robbed in the second. Yeah, he did. He did get robbed, but that was the round he lost. But he won 1-3. Someone would have got his fight time down to 1 minute 30. Yeah, it's fucking insane, isn't it? Sorry, apologies. Isn't Tom like 32 right now? He's pretty much in his prime, but equally heavyweights prime's going to last a bit longer, and they can also just compete longer. So I think Tom will be fine, but it does suck, yes. He should be carving out his legacy right now. And no, I'm not for Arman's grappling match. I don't much care for grappling events, which is ironic because I do train in jiu-jitsu, and I love the game. I just don't like watching it. So, you know. Jojo, big up, man. How you doing, brother? Good to have you. Good to have you. Yes, sir. You know it. You know it, man. Like that fucking like button. Like the like button. Press the like button, should I say. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, he's like 32, so if he keeps weighing, he'll be like Nick Diaz. Well, no, I mean, no, heavy. It's a different ball game at heavyweight. It completely is. I mean, put it this way. DC was able to compete at, what, 38, 39, 40? You know, obviously DC is a special kind of athlete, but so is Tom Aspinall. Perhaps even to a higher degree. So I think he'll be fine. He's got plenty of time. He will go down as the greatest heavyweight of all time. He's already got a title defense. People can say it doesn't count. I don't give a fuck. It clearly does count because Jon Jones is bullshitting. My eyes already got a title defense on the books, and he'll have plenty more when all is said and done, I think. Nunes or CM Punk. I'm going to go with Amanda Nunes. Boxing moment was that Vince used the girl as a pawn to get Brock to come back. What the fuck? Yeah, weird. Yeah, it was all shady. I think Arman Sarukian would be a nightmare matchup for Khabib. As someone who has experience with Khabib. Interesting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we said the same thing about Islam. I think that was his toughest fight, which is I'm so annoyed we didn't get it happen and it fell out last second. But maybe down the line we'll see it again. I know they fought at different stages of their career early on in the UFC, but it's completely different dynamic at this point. So who knows? But with Khabib, I don't know. Khabib's wrestling is so cerebral and so efficient, and he ties it in so well with the philosophy and willingness to put damage in and you know, take the offensive front. That's what makes Khabib so effective over a guy like Islam or even Sarukian to a higher degree, is that Khabib will get that position and he will make you pay for that. If he gets you in mount, you are going to get the shit beaten out of you. Islam has never fought the same way as Khabib in that regard. Cooking with Volk or cooking with Kaya Sakura? I'm going to go with Volk, man. What armor? Maybe. For Punk, yeah. Islam is a worse matchup for Arman than Khabib just because of the striking. I disagree. I say this time because Khabib's wrestling is just the victory path regardless. It doesn't matter how good your wrestling is. You won't beat Khabib on the mat. So it's like Khabib's striking always served the purpose to set up the grappling. That's what I always say when we talk about these conversations between Khabib and Islam specifically, is that the former, his striking was not better than Islam's, but because of that, he was actually more effective at winning fights because he didn't sit and linger on the feet. If that makes sense in a weird way. Yeah, exactly. Khabib's striking was his weakness, but he melded it perfectly. To his credit, with Abdul Manap's work and Javier Mendez, they built a style around him which would cover any weaknesses and use the striking to set up the wrestling perfectly. And that's what made him the perfect fighter. Because he wasn't the most well-rounded fighter. Islam Makhachev, by clear definition and just using the eye test, clearly is a more well-rounded fighter than Khabib. But who was more effective at winning fights? Khabib. It's not about how well-rounded you are. It's about how good you are at winning fights. And Khabib was more effective than anyone, in my opinion. So, have a nice day, bro. Chris, thank you for the energy. I appreciate the kind words as well. Thank you very much. Atomic, you're not getting me, bro. It's not happening. Arman's wrestling is amazing too. Yeah, very high level. Agreed. Gaethje stopped the takedown in the first round, and Gaethje's not Arman's level in wrestling. Yeah, he stopped it once and then got fucking armbar transitioned into a triangle, like, off a takedown. I mean, come on. I understand the argument you're trying to promote, and I think it's an interesting one. I think there's definitely grounds for it, for sure. But all the three of those guys are so high level. Random, what's up, man? John will beat Tom. No, he doesn't want to fight him because he doesn't want to take that risk. That I agree with. I agree. But if he could beat him, he would have taken the fight. If he thinks he could win, he would have taken the fight. But he didn't because he doesn't, and he's scared. DC fought when he was like 38. He's got no excuse. Agreed. Agreed. Shout out to DC. Exactly. People forget that. Oh, they say, oh, he lost to Jones twice. This, that, and the other. Bro, the guy was a double champ at what, 39, 40? How insane is that? Was about 39 where he became simultaneous double champ? That is insane to me. Sorry, I'm getting bodied by hay fever right now. Oh my god. Not the time for it. Shout out Daniel Cormier, man. Underrated. Aspinall, Prime Kane, Aspinall. Aspinall put his lights out inside a minute. And Prime Kane is an animal if you go back and watch his fights. Obviously before my time, but I've gone back and watched his fights. I'm telling you, Aspinall would demolish that man. Yeah, easy. It's not even... There's no debate there. Aspinall is the best heavyweight to ever exist. And that's not a crazy take at all. It just isn't. He clearly is. You just need to look at his ability alone. The only reason I would like to see Jones beat Aspinall is because of those stupid Redditors. I think Jones fans are far more insufferable, personally. I'm going to be real with you. I understand people on Reddit are annoying, but Jones fans, people who defend Jon Jones in and out of the cage, more importantly, are despicable. So, 39 elbows, Stipe outcut. I mean, I will add an asterisk to that because he did eye poke him beforehand and Stipe couldn't see the shot. But regardless, he still defended it against Cormier afterwards and put up a very good fight in the rematch and the trilogy. So I have no problems with what DC has done in this game at that age at all. I'm a fan. I wasn't a fan of the guy when he was fighting. Because when I started watching MMA, it was around that period with the whole Stipe trilogy. A bit before that, but that was really when I got invested in those guys. And I didn't like how dirty DC fought with that style and the eye pokes. So, you know, at the time I didn't like him. Now I have an appreciation for the guy. Like the dude. Very good coach. I think that's one of the best aspects of DC. If you go look at his videos where he's breaking down the wrestling techniques, he's so good at what he does. And he clearly is so passionate about it. Like, he'll go and, you know, kids wrestling tournaments. He's there coaching them in their corner. This guy's like a superstar, and he's still doing this. So, I'm a big fan of DC. He's clearly a grounded family man. Jones fans a 50-year-old head who just decked out in tap-out clothes and stuck in the 2000s. Yeah, with a Just Bleed bandana or a tattoo across the chest. That would probably fit that bill. And he returned the iPod. Yeah, he did. Call it even. No one beats Aspinall in the world right now. No, no one. No one. Truly no one. Maybe a gorilla. Maybe a silverback gorilla. We're not going to go down that hole again. Not at all. I think Prime Stipe would beat Heavyweight Jones. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm going to be real. I don't think so. And I like Stipe a lot, but I don't think so. It would a hard fight. He could give up. No, he would not give Tom a hard fight, though. No way in hell, bro. And I actually, listen, generally speaking, I've been with you on most of your opinions, but no way. Aspinall's just a new generation. He just is. He would destroy Stipe. Stipe's always been a very flat-footed fighter, generally speaking. Like, he does, like, lumber quite a lot, if that makes any sense. He plods. Aspinall is not a plodder. Unlike 99% of that heavyweight roster. DC's the natty goat. Yeah. Shout out Daniel. Well, I'd say Bisping, but Bisping really pioneered the natty sort of the natty troop. Maybe you're right, love Stipe. Yeah, same. I'm a big Stipe fan. Listen, I was cheering for him when he finished DC in the 4th round with that beautiful game plan switch up with those liver shots. That had me cheering at 6 a.m., 6:30 in the morning, you know? That's one of my best early memories of MMA. Or earlier, should I say. Not earliest, but earlier memories of MMA was that fight. I'm a big fan. I've always been a big fan of Stipe. So, you know, I sucks to see the way he lost against Ngannou was pretty brutal, but I wasn't surprised by that one. What do you expect, Bosch? It's East London talk right there. 100 Diddies or 1 Leo Copper. MMA, I'm going to say, I'm assuming you meant Cooper. I'm going to go with me, because I would not get involved in that. So do you think you would beat current Jones? Maybe actually. Honestly, I'm willing to give you that one. We can compromise on that. I'll do a couple more, then I'm gonna have to love you and leave you guys because I've got a little bit more work to do and some stuff to plan, and also I need some food. I mean, I don't know why I'm so tired today. 10 gorillas more a fair fight. I think I'd win easy, mate. Easy. I mean, I stand by on the gorilla thing. It wouldn't even take 100 men to beat a silverback gorilla, but people don't want to hear it. Anyone who thinks the gorilla's gonna win is dumb as hell. Yeah, the gorilla would kill quite a lot of them, but not 100. No way in hell. Not even a chance. Gorilla would just get out of breath. Gorilla would exhaust itself. Arm triangle the gorilla? Nah, man. He's. No, I don't think so. Gorilla's basically like no neck. Like no way. You're not getting an arm triangle. I think what how could you submit a gorilla? What would be the most effective submission on a gorilla? Maybe like a I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's not much, is there? I think you just probably have to try and get a face crank or something. That would be it. That's the only real option. But they're too wide. It just wouldn't happen. You wouldn't be able to get your arms around the head and fully cinch it up. I don't know. Heel hook? Nah, man. Think how strong their legs are. No way. Mother's milk on a gorilla. Yeah, that would be... Yeah, that you never know, you know? Because the way gorillas can't see, then they start freaking out. So they probably ping you off like it's nothing. Yeah, I got mother's milk the other week, and it was not a fun experience. First time in a while. About how Bo Nickel could take one down. Yeah, I mean, he said he could beat a gorilla on his own, right? What an idiot. I mean, 100 people, gorilla would just gas out. I think the mother's milk's a valid option. Heel hook's not happening. I admire the gumption, but no way. Go fooded it. You have to distract it. I think you'd have to distract it and then land that get that face crank on. That'd have to be the way. Thing is, you wouldn't be able to get hooks in because the gorilla's just too big. You wouldn't be able to get any hooks in, so you wouldn't be able to get any proper torque on the choke. So I'm not sure if it would work out. I think we're reading too much into this. But anyway, people. Oh, Dots, man, you're leaving right as you're joining right as I'm leaving. I'm apologize, man. I do apologize, but thank you for tuning in, even if it's only for 5 or 10 seconds, man. Thank you very much. But I am gonna have to love you and leave you guys. Stay safe, stay hydrated. Big video coming out tomorrow. Be very proud of it. Excited to put it out. And then after that, I think we're gonna work on an Ngannou documentary. I haven't fully confirmed that, but I wanted to do a Francis Ngannou documentary, especially with the recent events around him. It just makes perfect sense. I really want to tackle those emotional beats, do them right, do them justice, and create a phenomenal story for you guys. So that's the plan, at least for the coming future. But thank you. I'll see you on stream next Sunday. And yeah, stay safe. Have a good one.